Okay, we are starting session 3, and we are privileged to have the Managing Director, TCGL Tourism Corporation of Gujarat Limited, Commissioner Tourism Government of India, Government of Gujarat, Mr. Jenu Diwan, coming online to talk to us about what kind of schemes and policies they are offering for tourism. After that, we will have some more sessions, but just Mr. Diwan is, let's hear.
Huh? How can I talk with the mask on? Um, have they joined in, or you want me to? Okay. Good evening again, everyone, for the third session of our today's event, which is going on very well. I know we are losing a few people every session, but it's more the merrier, less the merrier. That's what I say. And so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background of Madhuban Resort and Spa. You may all be aware of it, but in any case, that is what I was supposed to do. So I'm just going to do it. And if our guest comes online, I will quietly walk away. So, okay, he's there. So that's for Madhuban Resort and Spa. Um, you want to introduce him? Where is Anil? Okay. Hello. Welcome, Mr. Diwan.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I know you are running short of time, so we are going to let you get right into it, and we'd love to hear from you. So please do join us, and good afternoon, Mr. Pankaj Tibak also. He's our FICCI chair from Ahmedabad. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
You're asking me?
What? Yeah, okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Please go on.
Yeah, sorry, actually, in fact, I had another meeting. That's why I was in a hurry. Another video conference is there. So I'm really happy that your association is organizing a webinar or a conference on food and agricultural tourism, its benefits and impacts and etc. Especially after this COVID scenario, I think it is high time that the various agencies in Gujarat, the hoteliers, tour operators, traveliers, everybody comes out with some new ideas so that we can sell our state in terms of the Gujarat tourism sector to the outside world in a much better way. In fact, now the tourists will be also searching for some new options, some new alternatives, because everywhere there is a crowd. Nobody will be now. Everybody will be little reluctant to go. So they will be searching for such options, such places, such tourist spots, or such ideas where lesser people will be there, lesser chance of interaction will be there, so that they can go safely and come back. So these ideas like food and agriculture tourism, agro-tourism or dairy tourism, rural tourism, all these things are surely going to sell. In fact, we are on the verge of creation of a new tourism policy from the year 2020 to 25. So during our interaction with the various agencies, we also got a chance to talk to various agencies, their requirements and so on. So at that time, one of their demands was that it's high time that we promote the agro on rural tourism areas. So we are trying to incorporate these ideas even into our tourism policy, so that we can also offer some benefits to those entrepreneurs who are willing to come out with some new investments in this particular sector. uh, there are so many people who are really interested in promoting the agro-tourism and rural tourism by setting up of a small farm house or something in a far off area, or in the beach, in the middle of his farm, some big agriculture farm or orchard or somewhere. So if he is ready to create some basic amenities, have a small interpretation center or a waiting area, and is making some investments, we will be high. In fact, we'll be happy to offer him some incentives. So that is the our where the line in which we are thinking. Obviously, the government has to take a final call, but mostly that will be mostly included in our new tourism policy. So we are also now trying to incorporate it in our policy. And beyond that, anyway, we are more we are welcoming all those ideas, or those who are having ideas, so that we can market such ideas to the outside world, because there are so many orchards in Gujarat, or so many what you call some now I have heard that some very good dragon fruit orchards are there in Kutch area. Mango orchards are in Saurashtra and South Gujarat area. So where we can give a real feel of how these farms are really functioning to the outside world. And more than that, in terms of the food tourism cuisine aspect, if we consider it alone, uh, I think Gujarat ka khana nahi khaya to kuch nahi khaya, aisa bolte hai. That I have realized after coming to Gujarat only. So, and each region of our state, whether it is South Gujarat, Saurashtra, or North Gujarat, or even the central part, we have our own different varieties of food. Whether it is the way we cook our dal, or way we are the way the sweets are prepared, or different dishes are prepared. So any tourist who is coming to Gujarat, ultimately when he returns, he has some satisfaction in terms of more. It's not some. In fact, it is he's more than satisfied in terms of the cuisine he is taking. He is having in the state, in our state. So we can really sell this aspect to the outside world also. And last year also we had come out with some very good brochures and booklets, and even 2 3 video films also depicting the real cuisine culture of the state. So if from your side also, if you have good resorts, or good restaurants which can be really promoted to the outside world, the tourism corporation will be more than happy to do it. I think that's more than enough from my side. Ma'am, if you want anything specific to be asked to me, I can answer. Otherwise, hello. If you want to ask me anything, you can ask me. Otherwise, I would.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
My name is Rohit. I wanted to have information about the beach development tourism policies that recently, as Gujarat has been given lovely blue flag beach tag.
Okay. Okay.
What are the plans, and do we have any Toran properties near the beach which government wants to give on a public-private JV?
Partnership. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, this we have got a coastal line of almost 1600 kilometers, but we can very well say that we have not marketed that particular asset in a proper manner. So now the government is very serious in terms of marketing that particular aspect. So first among them is this our application for certification under this blue flag scheme, for under which the Shivarajpur beach near Devbhumi Dwarga, it has got the recognition. And the tourism corporation is now coming out with a big project there, almost 250 crore project for development of Shivrajpur beach is underway. We have even invited the tenders also, and a good master plan has been created for the area for ensuring that it is developed in a proper manner and considering the eco aspect, maintaining and preserving the ecotourism aspect of the region also, and the blue flag certification is also kept intact in future too. So along with that, other beaches like the Mandvi beach or the Madhupur beach, and in South Gujarat, some of the beaches can be developed also. So one by one, we will be taking each. And now we are also not interested in a piecemeal approach whereby some part of the beach is developed. So we are going for one. We will be doing it in a proper manner. And regarding the torrent properties, yes, we are coming out with some tenders for we have identified some land parcels in these good beaches. One in Madhopur, one in Shivrajpur, and one in Mandvi. So we will be shortly coming out with tenders for inviting for creation of some construction of some resort or a good tent houses or anything near those beaches. So they will be coming out. And one such development is already going on near the Tithal beach. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, one quick question. This is Ritika Bajaj. Actually, just before your session, we were just speaking about that wine is not considered to be alcohol, and the Maharashtra people who were into that. So Gujarat, we don't have alcohol, but definitely, don't you think if we allow wine, then the tourism industry will really, grow in Gujarat, and we can take that forward because wine is made out of fermentation, not out of distillation. So, can the Gujarat government and the Gujarat tourism support that wine can start being available in the local market in the Gujarat?
What are the policies
Yeah.
since?
Yeah. Every state is having a policy of its own. So we have been following that prohibition-oriented policy from from the last so many years. So it is up to the government to take a call on it. But still, there are demands from so many sides, including the hotel association and tour operators. Let us see. We have put it forward to the government. Let us see. But I think the policy of the government has to be. They have to maintain. It is up to them to take a final call on it. So I'm too junior an officer to take a sensitive matter like that.
So would that be in terms of months, years? What are we looking at? Sorry, this is I'm Taruna Patel, the chairperson of Fikiflow Ahmedabad chapter, and again, we
you
are
can
very
give representation, ma'am. I think all of you can really give a representation, and if you can convince the government, obviously, take a.
Sir, I have one
It will
more
be good.
question. Regarding our tribals, we always consider whatever is made and consumed by the tribals is more like an handicraft. How about Mahua? This is their local drink? Why it has never been accepted by Gujarat government for considering that as a local drink made, manufactured in Gujarat, consumed by Gujaratis officially, but never ever accepted by the government?
Okay, regarding the Mahua drink of tribals. Okay, they may be, like obviously the state has a prohibition policy of its own, but in some parts, especially in the inner tribal areas, people do, they do prepare and consume maybe that Mahua drink or something.
Sir, Mahua is officially a tribal drink for our constitution. Also, it is a tribal drink. So,
Okay.
never accepted by the government officially as a tribal drink or an handicraft.
Maybe the level, the number of people who may be consuming it may not be worth that much. That can be considered at a state level. Maybe that can be the reason.
I mean, there is a question here which will arise if you have a breathalyzer test, whether after consuming that, would you be considered under the influence of alcohol or not? So you really will have to.
I think all of you are more interested in ensuring that the prohibition policy of the state is changed.
So I'm Gyaneshwari here from again one of the ladies here, And what Sir was just talking about, the Mahauda, it's a dying, it's a way of making it. It's so different. And I mean, if the generation will stop making it, or we won't even know how the Mahauda is actually being made. So I really think that we should, or the government should think about this, and at least make the Mahauda available for even for tourism. It's a thing which it will eventually die out. It's a
Okay.
fanny of Gujarat. So that's how
Let
I.
us see that your demands and call for change in the policy. I don't know how the government will take it, but still, okay, considering the tribal tourism aspect, let us see. We can definitely it is a policy which has to be taken at the highest level or modified at the highest level. We can definitely ensure that your representation reaches the proper appropriate authorities. That's the only thing I can comment at this moment. I think call from my secretary has come to join another DOPT conference from Delhi. So
Yes.
thanks for
Sorry.
giving me this
So,
opportunity.
Mr. Diwan, I am from the wine industry of Maharashtra. I belong to the All India Wine Producers Association, and I completely agree with Madam that Mawa should be treated as a local drink, and it can be promoted because Arunachal is promoting their kiwi fruit, and kiwi fruit, they are making wine out of kiwi fruit, and Mizoram is making wine out of their local wild grapes.
Okay.
Same thing in Himachal, they are using apple for the same thing, and strawberry in Mahabaleshwar, strawberry is used for making wine in Mahabaleshwar, and same thing if you go in Ratlam also have some in MP. Ratlam has some wild grapes. They are making wine out of it. So it can be a good centralized thing that every state, whatever fruit they have, they can make wine out of it, or any fruit drink out of it, which can be a value addition for that fruit. When it is always fruit is always a perishable product. So after some time it has to be perished. So it can be
Used.
reutilized, and it can have a long life for
And
that.
especially since Gujarat is a dry state, this could be an advantage to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely we can consider. I told you now, this is in decision that has to be taken at the highest level. What I can do is that I can ensure that your representation reaches the appropriate authority. That's the only thing I can comment at this moment.
Jenuji,
Thank
if we
you.
can
Thank you very
consider Neera also, we've been talking about Mauda and winemaking. Neera is another thing that needs to be given its due importance. We've got indigenous trees everywhere in Gujarat, and Neera is something that the World Health Organization has also identified is the drink to be. So let's give it that focus that it needs.
Definitely, in some states, I think I am from a state where Neera is considered. I am from Kerala. Actually, Neera is used even by the tourism industry there. I know that, but I don't know. It's a policy that has to be decided in a total manner. So my answer remains the same. That's only the thing. As a government official, I can comment. So thank you, all of you. Thank you for giving
Thank
me this
you.
opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I wish you all the best for this conference. Okay.
Thank you. So, Mr. Anil? Since our next guest is going to be on at 6:30, I'll finish this little chat on Madhuban, and then you can have the panel discussion, right? You'll have a discussion here on there. Okay. So anyway, going back to Madhuban, as you all know, we are nestled away in the clamor, away from the clamor of any metro city. Madhuban Resort and Spa highlights 25 to 30 acres of manicured gardens, Gujarat's longest swimming pool, 5 restaurants, including the largest coffee shop in Gujarat with an award-winning naturopathy spa, Riju, and stands as the true epitome of elegance, and opulence. In the past decade, Madhuban has won several honors that include the best wedding destination, best naturopathy and spa resort, best luxury resort of the country, just to name a few. And we also, at one point, were the top 20 resorts in India. Madhuban has also been awarded Excellence in Environmental Sustainability at SATE Awards, Green Hotel Award at Ashokam, and Green Hotels Award India. Madhuban completed 10 years of its existence last year. We started off with 81 rooms and now have 108 rooms, and plan to expand further to 150 rooms. That was the plan for the coming year, 2021. But with this pandemic, we may postpone it for maybe another year or so. Madhuban Organic Farm is a wholly owned offshoot of Madhuban Resort and Spa. It's within a vision of serving healthy, organic, rich, and chemical-free food in our premises. Madhuban Organic Farm came into existence in 2016, located behind the resort. And Madhuban Organic Farm grows and sources 100% locally grown produce for our kitchens. Spread over 30 acres of land, Madhuban Organic Farm has adopted the most advanced biodynamic agriculture techniques and grows a host of exotic and local vegetables for the Madhuban kitchens. Staying close to Elicon's motto, always a step ahead in technology, Madhuban Organic Farm uses modern and innovative methods of agriculture that includes a high-tech greenhouse with innovative drip irrigation systems and modern machinery. The farm grows a host of vegetables locally, which includes exotic and indigenous varieties such as cherry tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, baby corn, leek, celery, parsley, turnips, kale, spring onions, asparagus, red radish, red okra, red French beans, basil, pak choy, lettuce, broccoli, bottle gourd, sponge gourd, little gourd, yard beans, coriander, amaranth, and several other seasonal fruits and vegetables. The fresh organic produce is sourced to Madhuban kitchens for everyday use and also sold in the markets at a very reasonable prices for the common good of all. In the future, we are planning to promote farm stays by creating a 6-hut cluster living in the nearby farms where the tourists can enjoy hands-on farming. Farm stays are accommodations made for guests on a working farm. Farms allow tourists and travelers to stay in huts, cottages, or barns and take part in day-to-day farm life. Pick the vegetables like we talked about, and probably we'll have a small kitchen where they can cook it and have it fresh. But bringing it from the farm to Madhuban, usually every day by 10:30 the vegetable arrives, and there's a procedure of cleaning it, and it is actually in reality from farm to the table. And that same procedure is used for our home also. So I eat the vegetables. If they are picked at 10:30, 11:30, I'm having my roti sabzi. And that's the beauty of having an organic farm. So farm stay in this particular area of Madhuban Organic Farm is interesting because it has modern technology. At the same time, you can create an environment which is for outsiders, for urban and even other countries, people to come here and experience what it is to get your hands and feet dirty. And we'll probably have a cow shed also. So that's another aspect of it. So that is something close to my heart and my husband's heart, just the way Madhuban was his dream. And he created it when I said it's not going to work. I think this is the biggest loss of business idea that you may have had, but he proved us all wrong. And I think Madhuban has created a niche for itself, not only in Gujarat, India, nationally, but also around the world. And today it's a property which is worth talking about. We are part of a very huge corporation, probably you all know, Elecon Engineering Group of companies. But when they meet my husband and me, they would recognize us by, oh, Madhuban, it's not Elecon at all anymore. The small kid knows about Madhuban. Elecon, not very many people know, unless you're an engineering firm. So Madhuban definitely has a name for itself. It stands by very high standards and principles laid out by my husband, Prayasvin Patel. And we have a team, a unique team of Madhuban, which has maintained this resort as if it was made just yesterday. So a lot has to do with the kind of values you attach to the people who work for you. They don't feel they're working for you. It's like one big family. So it's like your homestay and farm stay. Almost everybody knows by each other by their names, and they know what the families are doing, and everybody's standing by for each other. And the biggest advantage, although it's not it's not 10 rooms, 20 rooms, 110 rooms, but my daughter got married, probably the last wedding in the country before the lockdown. It was on 19th of March. And as you all know, 21st or 22nd was curfew, and then the lockdown. And the wedding was planned in 3 days, and I'm not joking. 3 days earlier to that, so 15th, actually we came to know, 15th was decided the wedding is going to be at Madhuban. And the fantastic team we have over here managed to pull off a magical trick, something that was impossible. It happened. And it was a dream wedding. It was supposed to be abroad. And of course, we couldn't travel because of the pandemic. And last minute, it was canceled on the 14th of March. And we had to decide, postpone it for later or do it. Team Madhuban, we will do it, man. There's nothing is impossible. So this is the kind of resort we have over here. It's a homestay for anybody who comes here. It's a home away from home, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a weekend, or just a business trip. So we are very proud of Madhuban, and I just wanted to share with you all that this is a place where you can also come and call it a home away from home. The other thing I wanted to share with you today is Fiki Flow Ahmedabad chapter is following a lot of initiatives for the year laid down by our President, Janvi Fukan. And the two major ones are agriculture and tourism, sustainable tourism. So in that, we are doing a lot of things, and today's event definitely is going to add a lot of values and mileage to our initiative. We are definitely going to take it forward. But the one thing that our tourism initiative head is Neena Gandhi, sitting right here besides me. Please, Neena, just introduce yourself. And she's doing a fantastic job. So one of the initiatives we've taken up this year is Dekho Apna Desh, which before even I took the chair in May, I decided this is something I'm going to do. And then the pandemic, it doesn't give anybody a choice. You definitely want to visit. So from Gujarat, because if you all are aware of Dekho Apna Desh, you have to visit 15 places outside your state. Okay, so you have to take a pledge to visit 15 places outside your state by 2022. And if you start now, during my tenure till March, we were waiting something to open, but it's not. But we're planning in December, hopefully. At least 5 places we will visit this year, and the next year we'll take 5 places, and the following year 5 places. So the homestays may be the right things to do. We're just going to drive and visit all the beautiful places that are around the borders of Gujarat, and we are neighbors to 3 states, so that's an advantage. So drive vacation and get to know places that you normally would not, because you're traveling abroad or you're going to stay somewhere. You go by flight, land, go to a 5-star hotel or whatever your desire is, and you never see these beautiful places. So this is going to be something that we are going to do as flow, and hopefully this pledge is being taken by hopefully all 8,000 plus members of FICCI Flow around the country. And that pledge, we are planning to start taking it today. With this conference, and I'm going to take that pledge today, and so are some of my FICCI Flow friends here. And we urge all of you to take the pledge and visit 15 places outside your state to help the economy of our country. Thank you very much, and I will let you take over. Thank you.
Mrs. Mamta Verma, Secretary Tourism, is going to take some time. So right now what we are doing is Mr. Rafiq was to have spoken later after her, but we'll take him on now. His presentation is ready to load. And Mr. Rafiq is, you can say we talked about so many fathers of homestay tourism. Where Rafiq can be considered one of the fathers of hospitality education in Gujarat. When I was in college, he was the principal of Hotel Management Institute in Ahmedabad. And in those days, I mean, the IHM Hotel Management always the place to get good food. So I used to try to fish an invitation for all their events. So now we have some of his students here. Dilip Bhai is there. I'm sure he'll be very happy to hear. But now let's get Mr. Rafiq on with his presentation.
Madhuban is a home away from home, with its vast enchanting gardens. Team Madhuban, always a ways to give you service to the smile. Adding to
Hello.
that, the aromas of cuisines from around the world.
With 25 acres of breathtaking beauty and absolute tranquility, Madhuban Resort and Spa exemplifies luxury that is soaked in tradition.
Madhuban is a home away from home, with its vast enchanting gardens. Team Madhuban, always a ways to give you service with a smile. Adding to that, the aromas of cuisines from around the world makes Madhuban a perfect wedding destination.
At Madhuban, an experienced team of wedding concierge and event planners are committed to weaving together moments that are certain to stay with you for a lifetime. Because moments
Good evening, and Your Excellencies, Madam Taruna Patel, Vicky, Mr. Anil Mulchandani. It's always the advantage to be the last speaker, because all questions that have to be asked have been already asked, and all what have to be said has already been said. Nevertheless, I hope I'm audible. Am I? Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. Welcome once again. I'm going to talk about the State Institute of Hotel Management and share with you the 5-year journey of the SIHM and its contribution to agri-tourism, spice tourism, and what we are contributing to village and stay vacations in the villages. Can I have the next slide? I'll share with you. We are a recognized institute by All India Council of Technical Education. We are approved by the Gujarat Technological University. We offer a 4-year bachelor's program and a number of skill development programs. Next slide, please. We have international affiliations with the Seychelles Tourism Academy. We have the Sacred Heart University, USA, and the EHL, which is one of the leading hotel schools in Switzerland. and we are trying to send our students there to start with the semester to be spent in each of these places as soon as we are allowed to send the students abroad. Can you have the next slide, please? This is the glimpse of what we have at the institute. We have the front office, the computer lab, and can we continue to have the slides, please? These are our labs. Go ahead, please. Next. We have two restaurant labs, the advanced and the basic training restaurant. And then next, this is our bakery, and this is one of the quantity food kitchens. In addition, we have the advanced training kitchen, the basic training kitchen, and the demo kitchen. Next, like any other institute of higher education, our aim is to develop and promote hospitality leaders through teaching, research, and industry collaboration. Our faculty members tend to expand the state of knowledge for the industry by creating knowledge through research, teaching, and disseminating knowledge through consulting, writing, and presentation. We are presently working with Celium, or the Indigo Producers Association of Sidhpur, to produce celium-based recipes and products. Some of these are shown here. This is a pizza base. Next slide, please. This is a granola and the rotis that we have made out of celium, which is in the tested, and all these recipes will be patented. Next slide, please. This is the focaccia bread, and we have the celium pizza base. Next. And this is the sandwich bread made out of celium or isabgol. So these are some of the research we are undertaking, and in future we hope to work with the Spices Board of Unja. We are helping develop Spices Park, develop recipes using local spices in ice creams and food production. And we have already developed our draft spice route or spice destination, starting from Ahmedabad to Sidhpur. On the way, we visit Unja and then Vadnagar and other places. These can be broken down into small special interest tours, which may be spice tours and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that we hope will promote agri-tourism and spice tourism, which is very important. Next. Next, please. At each of these locations where we are going the route, we will set up a small sub-destination organization, which will host a kiosk ordering, serving local cuisine, and having a small counter for the local handicrafts and crafts. And wherever possible, we have a live craftsman working. In addition to that, all these places, wherever tourist buses stop, they will also have a computer linked with augmented reality to show destinations around Gujarat, and each information linked to the mainframe computers of the TCGL, whereby the local guide can help you and show you through augmented reality the destination in the true sense, adding value and showing all places around the destination. Next, please. How is SIHM related to tourism? The fact that we are an initiative of the state tourism, and where therefore we look at tourism from two perspectives. One is tourism, which is a resource-based industry, using number of resources in a very complex way. So every time we step on the earth, we are using and consuming resources which are meant for the future. Therefore, when Madam Taruna talked about sustainable, safe, and other tourism, I think SIHM has demonstrated in many ways how do we sustain and maintain tourism. We have about 1 million liters of rainwater harvesting capacity, 250 kVA rooftop, something. So our electric bill is almost zero. And we have 60,000 square feet of landscaped area. We have 100 varieties of local and indigenous trees. So we're trying to maintain sustainability, which also influences the students to adopt to these kind of things. the other perspective, next slide, please, of tourism, we treat tourism as a information incentive resource. And as a result, the information to be available to all people at all times in 24/7 is an important aspect of tourism, because tourism is 24/7 industry, 365 days in a year. So as to demonstrate this, we are setting up, next slide, please. We are setting up a contactless cafeteria at Sidhpur and Bindu Sarovar, where you can see we will have a person coming in, going through, ordering without contacting, ordering through a kiosk or a mobile application, and then food is delivered contactless through Shield. So this is something which we demonstrate by way of these things. We will also have a small cloud kitchen there to develop some kind of employment through food delivery, which may be a little difficult, but we are making provisions for a cloud kitchen so that local entrepreneurs can come and see what is a cloud kitchen, what is a technological contactless cafeteria. This is another aspect of tourism in the form of information incentive. So you can see there is nothing, nobody come, you come in, your temperature is automatically checked in, you're allowed to pass through a UV thing, you order through a kiosk or a mobile application, you see the display board, and you then pick up in a safe contained parcel. So this is what we are setting up. As soon as the tender is out, we should be able to start this cafeteria. It will be called the SIHM Toran Cafeteria. And then similarly, we have a lot of people vending food on the streets. So we have developed, I remember when the textile mills went on strike and a lot of people got unemployed, we helped the government of Gujarat set up training centers for setting up food lorries on the roadside, and that culture has now become very famous. We have developed some kind of training program for the street food vendors. Can we please have the next slide? Next slide, please. This is we are converting one of the old buses, which is a 9-year-old bus, into a mobile food truck. And what will contain, we'll show you in the next slide. Next slide, please. This is what has been planned, and this is going to cost us a lot of money. It'll serve cuisine, which is basically local, and also a lot of things produced at the SIHM bakery and other resources. Students will actually work both in the cafeteria and these places, so they can come pick up some of these entrepreneurial activities, have their own food trucks, and work on these things. So this is what we have been able to do in the 4 or 5 years of our existence at Sidhpur, which, as you know, is a very small town, but I think it's also an equally important place. Next slide, please. Can we have the next slide? Okay, sorry, can we go back? What our future plans are, we're going to start food technology programs and food processing programs, whereby we will try and add value to the farm produce, especially setting up something like a small plant with a laboratory at JISA for potato processing, or sorting out and then transporting them through cold corridors with the help of the Amul, which is the biggest cold corridors which is available in the country. And then we are going to have we're going to start a course and to train people in farm stay or staycation, so that they know what is the expectations of people, how they can bring them closer to the nature, and then at the same time we enjoy these things. After a very long pandemic, we have to learn to live, and we have changed the entire behavior and all. And I think these are going to be important things with tourism. And then we're going to have local crafts, cuisines, festivals, and melas at all these small locations, especially in Sidhpur and our cafeteria. We're going to have the Madhuban. We're going to have day picnics for the corporates. We're going to have day picnics for the school around. We're going to serve them local cuisine and so on. We are trying to work out an international conference on agri-tourism through Mr. Panduram Thavde. I have been in touch with him for a long time, and I think as soon as our uh, auditorium is ready, we would be announcing at around 2022. We probably will have agro-tourism and village tourism international conference, which hopefully will be sponsored by UNDP or UNSK. So this is what I had to say, because in 5 years we have been trying to reshape and come closer and develop agro and village tourism. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Rafiq. So my question is for the courses that you have, what are the shortest for the skilling? What are the shortest courses that you may have at your institute?
The structured programs which we have, which are usually sponsored, as a minimum program is 3 years, but we have specialized programs depending on the needs of the industry. For instance, we did a 3-day program at the governor's residence to train their people. We did a 2 weeks program for the SRP people. So depending on the basis of the identification of needs and prior learning experiences, we can design and deliver a program according to the need of the industry or a specific organization.
Sir, this is Ritika Bajaj. Good evening, Rafiq sir. For the CSR activities and other things, like there are a lot of unemployment people who are looking for employment, and there is a lot of employment in the hotel industry. So can we have some kind of skilling workshop which is short term and which can help in the employment of these people?
Madam, we are already working with a lady who is the president of TAI, Tourism Tourism Association of India, Jyoti Mayal, for upskilling of people and reskilling people who have already been see 15 or 25% of the hospitality staff is on contract basis. So those people who have lost the job, we can reskill them and upskill them. We are trying to work out a program. Definitely, it's a employment oriented industry. We are also working with all other industries which are working in the rural areas, because the next growth area would be in the rural areas, and agriculture has been the saving grace for the GDP. So we definitely are looking for people to be employed not only in hospitality and tourism. Therefore, when we are talking about this spice route, I think we'll be able to employ at least 150 people locally at every spot, including the local guides, including the people who do the local cuisine, people who are going to be trained as guides in those places, people who are going to transport people, people who are going to take them around to the various places. So I think that's an extremely good area and a very important area. We are already working with TAI to the upskilling, and THSC, which is Tourism Specific Council for Hospitality and Tourism. We have identified some areas which we are going to work, and I think the state government is very open to skilling these people in media. And thank you for your suggestion. We are already working on it, since it is already in the draft form, so we did not discuss it at this.
No, definitely, sir. But another question contradictory to that if FICCI Flow people would want to do the similar thing, so do we have to sign an MOU, or what are the formalities we need to take with your institute to have the tie-ups? Because we also are into upskilling and different kind of activities for women empowerment. So what kind of help could that be for us?
We can enter into an agreement or agreement, and then we set up. See, this has to be worked out sufficiently in advance. And given the location, Sidhpur is about 130 kilometers away from Ahmedabad. We need to work out on the logistics. We need to work out small details, because all these programs have to be done at the local places. we need to be able to spare faculty. So all these have to be worked out, because it will take a 1-year program or a 6 months program. These are the skill programs that we need to do, because right now we are very busy with doing online programs, to finishing the programs and conducting examination. So, but I think we can, our Mrs. Verma, who is going to be the next speaker, she is our chairperson. You can tell her, and this will be only a matter of time that we are asked to do it. It's not only we look forward to such opportunities, and we would like to work. Even when I was in IHM Ahmedabad, we had done a lot of things for the local people, local restaurants, local hoteliers, small people, and reskill them. And we'll be very happy to do it. These are things which are personally very close to my heart. And we are working very closely with other agencies who have the resources and the funds. We can provide the expertise.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Green tourism. Now we are going to blue tourism. So blue tourism is the protection of tourism, sustainable tourism for the sea. So a lot of initiatives have recently started, like I said, surfing tourism, scuba diving done in more ethical manner. In Gujarat, Nirav Parekh has introduced a dive center where he has trained people from marginalized communities for scuba diving activity. So I will request them to play his presentation till our next speaker, Mrs. Mamta Verma, comes on. And thanking Rafiq sir, he has got some exemplary programs. Like if there is a child who has not cleared 10th, SIHM has diploma programs like food processing, food packing, canning. That is a good career option. So thank you, Rafiq sir. You have done exemplary work, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Can we have the PowerPoint presentation? That's the video. Good afternoon, good evening, friends. Diving on Gujarat coast is a new challenge because we have murky water. So we technically started introducing Gujarat as a dark sea scuba diving center. આપણા કૃષ્ણ કનૈયા કાળા છે, આપણા ભગવાન છે, એવી રીતે આપણો દરિયો કાળો છે, ડહોળો છે. It is murky. Why it is murky? If you know, then it is very surprising to know that murky water is because of high level of phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. Every second breath you take, દરેક બીજો શ્વાસ જે તમે લો છો ને એ દરિયામાંથી આવે છે. અને this tiny little creatures who make the water murky are responsible for climate change, mitigating climate change impact. So if you understand scuba diving from environment education point, like agro-tourism, like, you know, how, then it's a very interesting phenomena which we can start working on. Can we go to the second slide, please? Next. Dwarka is also one of the ancient city of Dwarka is also one of the very interesting area where we can go and explore. I'll show you a small clip. Seeing is believing. It was 2010 when we started scuba diving. There was no policy for allowing us to go and dive. 2012 we came out with some footage, showed it to people. Seeing is believing.
Ernest and Young came out with beach tourism, Dr. Mangraj, and we had a very good seminar on beach tourism. But scuba diving never found a place as a policy for government of Gujarat. So can we see the first video? Seeing is believing. And this is no other than Mr. Jawar.
A warm welcome
made this statement after
to you all as an international expert of scuba diving, resorts and travel, business and trade community. I invite all of you to Gujarat, explore the destination for scuba diving, beach tourism and much more that Gujarat state has to offer for its history, heritage and ecotourism. I appreciate the effort of Green Soldiers Scuba Network to come out with first-hand information film on safe diving practices and the marine ecosystem one can see and respect world's natural heritage. We have international tourist-friendly environment in Dwarka to make your visit comfortable with scuba diving winter season in the months of October to March. Government of Gujarat is working on formation of scuba diving tourism policy and ensure you that soon we will have it with all your support. Gujarat.
So the question is whether corals are plants or whether they are animals. Animals, okay. Anyone else? No. They are animals, and yeah, they are animals, and they survive on zooxanthellae, which stays inside the coral. So any fluctuation in the temperature and other things that leads to their depletion, and let's not get into the technical part of it. Can we have the next slide, please? Next slide. So what Mr. Chawda was telling, we came out with a first-hand information documentary film on how to dive, where to dive on the coast of Gujarat. And it is a 30-minute film. You can download it. And the title is Mother Coral Reef. To conserve corals, it is important to identify the mother reefs and conserve them rather than looking into the small patches and other things. So with scuba diving, we have started identifying mother coral reefs, which are huge in size in the subtidal zone, not in the intertidal zone. And this film is published, was supported by Government of Gujarat Information Department as a first-hand information on scuba diving on the coast of Gujarat. Next slide, please. Snorkeling or scuba diving. We don't have any information. Does anyone have information of which are the places, which are the locations where you can go and dive on the coast of Gujarat? No, it's right now it is proprietary with 4 different agencies, 4 different operators who have their places, who know the places where to go, how to go. So we are at this forum, we are requesting Government of Gujarat, Tourism Department to come out with a first-hand information booklet or maybe on website and other things, which are the locations. The collector of Dwarka has already requested the Tourism Department to identify and to do demarcation of this particular area, do reef profiling, and come out with a scientific information what is needed to invite scuba divers from abroad. So that information has to be disseminated on SOS basis, as fast as possible basis. That is the only way you can invite foreign tourism. You can invite, we have proprietary information. People, they call us, we talk to them, and then, but that has to be published by Government of Gujarat. Next, please. So I'm not getting into who knows what, say, tourism department, there's no promotional activity till 2020 for promoting Gujarat as a destination for scuba diving. Forest department, their role is limited to Marine National Park because their focus is conservation, not tourism. They have all the information for monitoring and research. Say for intertidal zone, yes, they have information. For subtidal zone, they don't have information outside Marine National Park. So their area is limited. Here we are talking about next, the location outside Marine National Park. The Marine National Park has a lot of constraints for tourism because of the industrial lobby has completely taken over. And it is, I mean, it is difficult to carry out scuba diving where you have heavy vessels and other things coming in and going out of the reef, I mean, blowing their horns, and even their engine sound is very scary when you are diving and other things. So we started exploring locations outside Marine National Park. And the first location we came out with our diving experience from 2010 was Shivrajpur. And next slide, please. Marine National Park, Narara, Pirotan, Ajad Island, and many others to say, yet to be explored for tourism. For research, monitoring, for conservation, Forest Department has explored it. But for tourism, maybe it is possible, it may not be possible. Outside Marine National Park, Arabian Ocean, Okha, Mithapur, Shivrajpur, Rupen Bandar, Dwarka, Baradia, Okhamadi, to Porbandar, Madhupur, and Mool Dwarka. These are all outside Marine National Park. We have dived in all these locations between 2008 to 2014, and we have first-hand information to guide our participants when and how we can dive in these locations. Next. These are our, I will just go through the glimpses of visuals of our diving operation. We operate from Fun Hotel, and this was last year. Before that, I was operating from Shivrajpur beach and staying with all the local people, with training them for scuba diving, helping them. I am the only person in my organization. Rest, all the employees and all the people who are working for this joint endeavor, they are all locally hired from Shivrajpur and Makanpur village. And what you see is, can you go up? Yeah, the Fun Hotel, that's the boat. We have safety sessions like, do's and don'ts and all sort of videos, training videos and other things. It is basically 3 to 4 hours of session. With getting used to the gears. There is a swimming pool also if you want to try diving, like, use the gears with breathing exercise and other things. And as a trainer, I have to spend at least 3 to 4 hours to understand your breathing pattern. No matter what you fill up in the form, whether you have heart attack history or you don't have, you are excited and you are in the anxiety, you may ignore the, but as a trainer, as a safety officer, I work for only 1%. 99% everything would be fine. 1% chance of any casualty. That's where I concentrate as a dive master, as a operator. Next. We set up small tents like this without night stay. This is for our daily operation and other things. Next slide, please. That's a whole bunch of 5 kits of our scuba gears and people who we have trained locally with National Fire Academy. Since last 2 years, we have been training people from all across Gujarat coast, and approximately 25 students every year are selected and trained with scuba diving skills along with their fire and safety operations, so that they can be ambassadors to the operation in terms of 1600 long kilometer coast of Gujarat. So we do a lot of ghost net removing activity, which is the plastic waste. The plastic waste on the shore is always removed by anyone, but the ghost nets which are inside the ocean are, whenever we come across, for our own safety, for our own diving, around the diving location, if there are any ghost nets, we take opportunity to remove them. Next slide, please. That's the certification what we get locally from the Gujarat Maritime Board for our boat operations and insurance policy. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I don't miss the opportunity to, celebrate all the local festivals with the local villagers. These were we have this kind of tents, based on our size of group and other things. We just set it up, and basically we have 2 tents set up, permanent setup, and then depending on the size of the group, we expand it. Next slide, please. Food. We have bajrana rotla, fish, lot of veg and non-veg food which comes from the local village, and people, they have they have always welcomed us. And અત્યારે બી હમણાં વારે વારે ફોન આવ્યા કે મારે સ્કુબા ડાઇવિંગ નથી કરવું પણ ત્યાં જમવા આવવું છે એમ. So that's Deepak bhai and their family is handling that department. Next slide, please. I'm not getting into too many things, saving the conservation angle and what we have been working on. Next slide, please. Shivrajpur beach has got the eco label, and I'll show you a video now which is from Shivrajpur beach and some of the scuba diving activities. Can we play the second video, please? around that place. Next slide from the PowerPoint, please. So FEE, Foundation for Environment Education, which certifies, which has certified Shivrajpur as a blue flag beach. And the process started with Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, basically to conserve and to keep the ocean clean. And now tourism will go ahead with this project. Next, please. That's the plan, what Mr. Janu Devan was talking about. They have acquired a lot of places for the development. And if the development goes in an unorganized manner, then you know how things they come up. So they have started acquiring land so that it can be the roads, the black roads, what you see, they don't exist. They are all kacha roads. So this will be soon under a development plan, which Mr. Janu Devan was talking about. Next slide, please. 2019, first biorock installation happened on Gujarat coast. Biorocks are basically the paradise for local fishing industry. Local fishing industry means people from the villages, they go with their net, small boats, do fishing, come out. They don't sell it. જેમ શાકભાજી કે આપણે લેવા જઈએ ને એવી રીતે ત્યાં પૂછે કે ભાઈ આ શું કરો છો તમે, તો કે બસ આ ખાવા માટે, અમે વેચવા માટે ફિશિંગ નથી કરતા. That fishing, local fishing industry is dying. Deep sea ટ્રોલર્સ ને મોટું મોટું જહાજો ને મોટા મોટા બોટ્સ ને લઈને ફિશિંગ, that is different, but local fishing industry is dying. So biorock installations world over, if you Google, there are 300 case studies on various coasts like Kenya, Florida, Madagascar, Mexico, Golden Triangle. So what they do is basically they have a biorock installation, a cage type structure supplied with 5 volt current, and it serves as a paradise for corals and fish nursery. Next slide, please. It also, the first installation was done in Mithapur, but still it is under constraints. We can go, to go and dive in that place. Next slide, please. That's Bali, where you can, like, see there is a diver there is a snorkeler there who can go and dive. Next. Thanks to GEC, Gujarat Tourism, Forest Department, Marine National Park, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Blue Flag, National Fire Academy, Gir Foundation, Zoological Survey of India, whom with this organization I've been working with to gather information, and all my presentations and research are basically either concluded or published with their support. Next slide, please. Diving scenario. Last, snorkeling and diving figures in Dwarka. 3 operators, 2015, 80 to 100 people. There was only snorkeling activity going on. In 2018, actual scuba diving started. 1,000 participants, including 600 snorkeling, and the figures what we have projected is both snorkeling and scuba diving. This year it is expected to be 3,000 plus. So we need more agencies, we need more people who can handle this. I've reached to my carrying capacity. I handle value-added customers, and I've reached my carrying capacity, and I don't want to increase my business or increase my capacity by lowering the quality. Because I'm the product. It's me, it's my brain, it's how I present, how I teach. I cannot pass it. I cannot immediately pass it on to other person. maybe if he stays with me or follows me for 10-15 years, maybe he can be a product. So I'm very satisfied with what I get. I mean, if I get 5 people, it's fine, but they have to be like, I spend quality time with them. Safety. Aditya is one of my student who is sitting here. Next slide, please. ATO. Government has a policy now, which is going to be soon released, and every operators will have to register and other things. Next slide, please. Shivrajpur, we have a mine. I'm planning to convert this mine into a 24/7 scuba diving resort. Presently, the seasonal constraints are scuba diving can be done between November to February because of the visibility criteria. Minus Poonam and Amas, which is full moon day and no moon day, 4 days of full moon day, 2 days before full moon days, 2 days after full moon days, 4 days plus 4 days, 8 days, minus those 8 days in a month. So we can only dive for approximately 20 days in a month, and November to February. And Dwarka has people, they come in and they say, we want to do scuba diving. We say no. So what we are marketing right now is 3 days, minimum 3 days. You come spend first day with safe practices of diving and other things, get used to it. Then the second day and then the third day we go deep, which is done the international way. It's just not like instant, like you come dive and go. So it's basically a 3-day business, which has to be marketed that way. So people who come to Dwarka and say we want to dive, there are other local people who have started instant. They take you anytime, visibility, hoy na hoy, they'll take it. So this center would, in the first phase, next slide, please. I signed a MOU with Government of Gujarat in 2013 to promote Gujarat as a destination for scuba diving. First 5 years, we'll have information. We do practical diving and other things and demonstrate how diving can be done on Gujarat state. If not possible, we'll wind up the project. But this year, we have started getting fruits. Next slide, please. So this center is basically would be a domestic investment, 2.5 crores, wherein we'll have a 20 feet by 40 feet glass wall with 20 feet depth, and inside that all the training activities and including night diving and other things can happen. In the second phase with artificial, it can be a living aquarium later on, not at this stage. The challenge is to have inflow of seawater and outflow of seawater. We are talking to Tata Chemicals because they already have an inflow of water for the salt works. So maybe we may set up over there, or maybe we may set up at Shivrajpur. And it can be converted into a bio-rock living museum. And this may, for the second phase, yes, we need tourism department, mining department, forest and environment ministry and fisheries department to take up this project further. Next slide, and thank you very much. This is my short. We can show the last video, which is okay, later. Okay.
So, you might have seen some of our FPA members also participated in his dive during our food trail. You hosted us. Now we are nearing the close. So I will invite Maulik Bhagat. Maulik Bhagat is the owner of Woods at Sasan. It is one of the most luxurious wildlife resorts in the country. The interesting thing about Woods at Sasan is it is done totally using indigenous material. Since there is lack of time, I am saying some of the things that he would normally say. So it is made using indigenous material, recycled wood furniture, totally mango orchard, edible farm, edible garden. So Maulik. Secondly, I want to call Gyaneshwari Devi, who is, you can say, one of the first in farm tourism in Gujarat. She started Misrioti Farm near Savli many years ago. I mean, when the concept was almost unknown, and she's been hosting a lot of dinners and all that. Bhavna Rana and Bhavna Rana is from the family of Jambuguda. They have Home for Nature Lovers, which is one of the, I think, one of the finest. I mean, one of the, again, one of the first places that got into green, the concept of nature tourism. And Aditya Roy is here. He in Run Riders, and Run Riders has a lot of farm tourism attached to it. They have a stable of horses. They have some livestock, poultry. They have their own water feature, which in which they actually breed the fish, and a lot of the food for the fish comes from their kitchen waste. So there are four interesting entrepreneurs of Gujarat in agro-tourism. Now, since the time is short, and Maulik also has a program called Chefs at Sasan. So his restaurant Swadesh in there is, the cook is Kaki. It is not a chef. A lady from the village, a lot of their produce comes from the Maldaris. So I think what we do is, since there isn't much time for people to present about their properties, which is anyway available on website, I think I will just let each one just give a few suggestions of what is their wish list, what do they expect from the government, from the travel industry, from organizations like Picky Flow, from food critics like me, from our bloggers who are here. So let us just do that. I mean, what is there, the highlights, USPs of the property I've said. Now let us just have their points of view.
We knew we'll be coming here, so I had a few points in mind. If you don't mind, I'll read them out. We'd like to thank Flo, Mr. Anil Mulchandani, for having us here. And we've all been trying to contribute to the farm stay tourism at our various places and at different levels. A great deal of effort has also been taken by the government and its various departments in organizing the various fairs like the Tarnetar Mela, Ran Mahotsav, and the Panch Mahotsav in our area. Likewise, if the fruit festivals could be organized in the various seasons, we have lovely mango orchards in Madhuban itself. Chikus, coconuts, custard apples, bananas grow quite easily in Gujarat. We can consider a festival for fruits for different seasons at different locations. If Nasik has a sundowner, we too can have a sunrise event. Gujarat has a 1600 kilometers long coastline. We seem to be the highest exporter of seafood compared to any state. And the presentation that we just saw, was testimony to it. But we still don't find it so much within the state. Seafood too should be made as easily as the local farsan is. I, for one, we are hosting a high-profile dinner tomorrow for the Spanish ambassador and His Highness Baroda and the Maharani Sahib. But we could not find proper fish in our area. So I've had to request the Madhuban team to help me out, find it here in Anand. And I'll be carrying some with me when we go back. The travel brochures have always highlighted the lovely food that Gujarat has to offer. A mention of the availability of fresh farm produce or farm stays in different regions that we have on travel sites and brochures will help in giving impetus to this field. We are Gujaratis and we love to travel, but each place has a holding capacity of the number of people that it can take at a place at one time. In the previous presentation, we heard that Sir has reached his holding capacity of 3,000 for this year. Likewise, a ceiling on the number of people visiting such farm stays or sanctuaries, forests, even for Statue of Unity. We've heard that they are reopening Statue of Unity after the 17th of October, and the government will be putting a ceiling on the number of people who visit that place at a certain time. I believe that this too should be done for the sanctuaries, especially the Gir forest or any other farm stay, because then the purpose of opening that property is lost if the number exceeds what there should be at one time. A conservative approach needs to be adopted by the concerned authorities towards unplanned mushrooming of hotels and resorts in sanctuary and farm areas. We are close to the Jambugoda Wildlife Sanctuary, and over these past 10 years, we've seen unplanned mushrooming of hotels. And be it in the periphery area or the buffer zone, it's just too erratic to handle. So we are a little unnerved as to how will things be 5 years hence. So this too needs to be given its due importance. Pet-friendly feature can be highlighted wherever there are pets at the host properties, and those who welcome pets as travelers too. The pandemic saw a lot of farmers had to throw away their fruits and vegetables because they were not able to reach the cities in time. And in the cities, we saw that the prices of fruits and vegetables had surged because there was no supply. If processing units, dehydration machines, packaging machines, or training programs for further processing of available fruits and vegetables at the farm stays, and also for the farmers in that area can be thought of by the concerned departments, this will save the farmer a lot of the misery that he has to go through these tough times. Just a day ago, we had an email from Gujarat Tourism, which was conducting a survey in association with IRMA to understand sustainable tourism practices and the gaps between the practices and the requirements. If appropriate steps taken from the result of such surveys will be taken, then definitely it'll help in boosting the sustainable tourism practices in the state. I have just 4 more left. Familiarization trips to such places where farm stay tourism is successful needs to be organized. The Food Entrepreneurs Association has been conducting such tours, but it will be good if the government too can step in. We've already spoken about the Bahura and Nira and are hopeful to have something productive on that. The world today has realized the importance of yoga. Farm stays are apt places for holding such yoga retreats. Itineraries can be planned and shared with various special interest groups who would like to combine the two yoga and farm stay tourism. Guidance with regard to planning a visitor-friendly farm can be given, wherein the guest gets a first-hand experience of the farm activities, like we spoke about the strawberry picking in Mahabaleshwar. Also, the traffic at certain places needs to be routed. We can take the example of Mathiran, where they don't allow vehicles beyond a certain point. You have to either cycle or walk. Am I right, sir? And the horse. So likewise, if something similar can be thought of, which is also sensitive to the needs of the disabled people, it will help a lot in reducing the pollution in areas. It was exhilarating to learn that Jambugoda Palace was nominated in the Best Heritage Hotel category at the recently held Gujarat Tourism Awards. Likewise, if we could have a category for the best farm stay at such award functions, it will encourage people to open up their farms too for purposes of tourism. Tourism is known to be one of the largest employment generating industries. Giving farm stay tourism the required push will only add to generating more employment. India has been an agrarian economy. Our farmers and people must take pride in it. Thank you.
So I'm going to talk about completely different topic, and that's farm stay with sports tourism. We started farm stay, say in the year 2005. Basically, I'm from a city, Pune, and got married and settled into at the farm. And then that's when I told Ishwar, my husband, I said, I've come all the way from Pune, and so many people don't know a lot of things about the farm. For an example, I still remember my first thing about green chilies. I didn't know that. He said, okay, make a list of things which you would like to do at the farm. And I said that, oh, we'll grow green chilies and red chilies. He's like, excuse me? I said, yeah, green chilies and red chilies. He says, no, green chilies is then, got red chilies turned from green chilies. I like, is that so? So that's how then we said, Ishwar, we must do a little bit of farm stay and bringing the urbanites to come over and get them to see the farm, how people live, and let them pluck their own vegetables or fruits or whatever we can offer. So we have mango orchards, we have sitafals, and we've got lemons. We do a little gardening for all the seasonal vegetables. And we've seen that people love coming and collecting their own vegetables. And then they come over, they spend a night, they pick up their vegetables, and they want to see the stars. They want to introduce their children to bird watching. And that's how it grew. A couple of years ago, then we thought of my husband's a national shooter. So then the idea came in that why not introduce sports, which is which a lot of people, and especially shooting, which a lot of people in Gujarat, especially, think that shooting or teaching children how to shoot creates what do I say? Um, I've not got the word. That they will they'll get violent, and they will want to shoot every now and then, and but they don't realize that when a child gets into shooting, he gets calmer, and that's the beauty of the sport. He also gets into discipline, into a discipline activity. He'll perform better in education too. So that's how we combined our farm stay with sports. And now we have a totally international recognized trap and skeet shooting set up at the farm. And they can come, people all over India come over and shoot there, learn how to shoot, practice their shooting. We have number of national shooters from our club, and we are a recognized club. And I can say my son is the youngest renowned shooter as of today in India. And that's how we have done a mixture of farm stay and shooting. And that's how we've done sports, we've taken over the sports tourism. And what I've realized is with all this, the rural employment has increased at the farm, at the village, in the village, because we have started taking over a lot of people for all these things. And when they meet a lot of people from the outside world, their living standards, their thinking has changed. And that's a positive side for rural. And as rural tourism is very, very important to keep the vegetation, the vibration, the landscaping intact. So that's all what I can say. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. So this is Maulik, and I represent Woods at Sasan, which is our flagship project, and the venture and the hospitality brand that we are promoting is called Thousand Island. Thank you, Anil, for a very brief but a very sort of important sort of introduction to the project that we've been promoting. So I'll try to sort of shift to sort of jump quickly to what Anil has sort of tried to focus on, that what kind of support that we may need. But before that, I'll just set the premise that where this is coming from. And Woods at Sasan is a mango orchard basically, and we have about more than 300 mango trees. And then there is about we've also developed some sort of a biodiverse farming there with about 550 various plants and trees and a various 54 variety of plants. The property is built on biophilia principle. I'm assuming that a lot of you would already know about it, but biophilia is basically a design principle that focuses on the impact of physical spaces on an individual well-being. And globally, it is a renowned sort of concept. I believe India, so we are getting more acquainted with this principle. The property got an honorable mention on Skift platform last year in New York, and we are happy to know, so say that this is probably one of the very few retreats which have got an honorable mention at that platform. Biophilia and the whole, the very very fundamental sort of idea of our the affinity as a human being for anything which has life and which is natural. And that is where our whole sort of focus on experiential tourism and agricultural focus is coming for. There are various experiences that we have developed around natural emergence and agri-tourism. As Anil has mentioned, we have Kaki who handles Swadesh restaurant for us, and then there is a lot of local sort of employment there. And the idea is to have a absolute local 0 mile procurement for Swadesh and really celebrate the regional cuisine that the region offers. And the brand is supposed to travel where we go. We have somebody called Bhaga Kaka, who when we procured the farm, he used to sort of take care of the mango trees, and then he's kind of stayed with us. Now he's the chief horticulturist. He's a local. He knows how to take care of the environment which is there. And then there is a whole horticulture team that we have, and then we have an edible garden where you can really sort of have a sort of a farm to table concept. I'll go a step forward where we have also sort of considered sort of, closing the loop when you go farm to table, but then you also look at closing the loop from table to farm. After you eat, what happens to the food? What happens to the wastage? How do you handle it? How do you handle the water? And whether are you able to close the loop with table to farm again? So that's also something that we have tried to practice there. There's an edible garden. You can go with the chef, pick what you want to have for lunch, and then there's an ethnic meal that we can prepare where Kaki would sit with you and have a real meaningful dialogue. Similarly, we have a Som garden, which is an Ayurveda garden that we are developing. A part of which, like Shatavari to Ashwagandha to various medicinal plants, aloe vera, which are also then used as a Vanaushadhi concept in our spa, which is called Som Wellbeing, and then to various sort of F&B concept that we have developed. There is a yogic peya that we saw where the turmeric is used for every yogic peya that we make. There are various destination lunches and experiences that we have developed, and the reason I'm mentioning that because there's a Bordevi temple right in the forest. We plan a meal for the guests there, and they really enjoy this. We really bring them the right ethnic food with the absolute comfort of a 5-star. At the same time, these kind of experiences are helping them sort of get exposed to the various smaller spots which are not really the big sort of destination, but which also needs attention. And I think that's how we can also sort of look at slightly more meaningfully distributed tourism rather than a very concentrated heavy tourism. I'll then sort of shift focus to the real sort of some sort of an help that I think we can look at, and as a from a general ecosystem of the whole tourism, including some of the government and policymakers. I believe there's a concept called community supported agriculture, CSA, where you can subscribe to a basket. You get to know that what a farmer is sort of what they're growing, and then you can subscribe that. Okay, I'll subscribe a basket every week. I'll subscribe this. I subscribe that, and then this can really build a sense of community and help a farmer really diversify their financial risk, feel more protected. They can feel more they can feel more participative of the overall economy that you are sort of developing. So that's one thing, community supported sort of agriculture, where a hotelier can also procure from them. And at the same time, you can encourage your team members staying there, and then a lot of guests to procure. Of course, this has to be considered within a particular mile concept, so that you are not polluting or you're not adding to the logistics. There's another concept called contract farming, which has generally been there. But I feel, being a responsible hotelier, we can also help sort of build these kind of systems and small networks where you can commission that this is how we need crop. This is the crop that we need. This is the kind of production we need. This is the kind of specs that we need. This is the kind of quality of production that we need. So that's another concept that we can put together, sort of develop with us. For us to try and procure from farmers, we have sort of built a good network of 82 farmers where we work, and now they have been sensitized towards organic farming, various global practices. We have tied them up with Junagadh Agricultural Institute to help them get exposed to some of the best practices which they otherwise may not get exposed to. And if we within 3 years can do this, I think, if as a community, if we really sort of commit to work towards it, I think we can really bring some sort of a bigger movement there. From government point of view, I think we can also request, there are these festivals that the government do there's a monsoon festival that they would do, and tourism department they've kept hosting various festivals. So I think that is something where we can really introduce food and agro tourism. And if they can really accept this as an important focus area and as a theme, which is sort of an annual theme, where we can, a lot of hoteliers and other trade sort of partners can co-execute these festivals with them. Maybe at the time government has the right intention, and they need the right partner to execute it well. So that is something that we can really sort of collectively activate and have festivals around that. For an example, in Junagadh, we have these mango, and Gir Kesar, as you all know, has gotten GI tag, so which is sort of a world sort of recognized type of mango that we have. Now, this is something that really calls for a great mango festival, which is absolutely built on agro-tourism, and then the people can meet the Maldharis staying there, and then various kind of sort of initiatives can be introduced. But it can probably start with softer and more popular concepts like mango festivals, and then we can sort of take people more closer to sort of an advanced concept around that. So net, these are 3-4 concepts I feel as a community we can focus on, and also seek help from the government. And we are also planning some of the retreats. I think retreat is again a very upcoming concept, at least in our country, and around agro-tourism, retreats can be planned, a good 3-day orientation to agro-tourism or agricultural concepts. Retreats can be planned, and then there can be slightly more longer, a week or 2-week courses or programs which are more towards education, environmental education, that can also be planned. So I think these are some retreats that we can also plan, and we are very happy to host a few of them. I think FICCI can play a great role here, and it is really good to see that these kind of themes are being taken up and being supported. So a retreat could be another, I think, concept which are sort of quick pop-ups, doesn't require a lot of infrastructure, and hoteliers, I am sure, will be very happy to support and host them as and when required. So I believe that's all from my side, and I'm grateful to be here and to sort of share my views and the concepts with the audience here. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you, FICCI, FEA, and Anil Bhai for providing this amazing platform, and I'm really excited to listen to all the talks that have been going on. So I represent Run Riders, which is a resort near Little Run of Kutch. It is one of the most dynamic landscapes in Gujarat. If you say Run of Kutch, and if somebody imagines Run, it is always like a dry area. But if you come in monsoon, right now it is like an ocean. You can actually cross the entire Run in boat. And we get some amazing prawns which grow naturally in the Run. So that is some, unique food. કે રણની અંદર ઝીંગા બી થાય છે and fishing થાય છે રણની અંદર. So we get unique kind of products which we can sell to this kind of unique marketing things need to be done properly. I am also a travel operator and I do a lot of experiential travel trip. I organize those kind of trips. Our students have stayed with ma'am for a very long time. I have gone to his property also with some guests. So what I have seen is that when I go for international marketing fairs like WTM or anywhere in Germany or something like that, these kind of products need to be projected very strongly, because whenever I see a Gujarat tourism stand, what comes out is Garba or Khaman Dokla or Somnath Dwarka. And I'll be very honest, because those things have been selling in domestic market, but when we want to sell this kind of unique products, we need to find that kind of market, which is very important. So like at Run Riders, we have a shooting range, trap shooting range, which is recently made. We have 4 lakes in which we have 40 plus variety of indigenous fish, and those fish are fed on the kitchen waste. We have our own desi poultry, we have our own Gir cows and bunny buffaloes. So, and we also have our own agriculture fields. So from all the food ingredients and everything comes from our own sourcing. And those kind of concepts, we sell these concepts to so our market has been foreign market, inbound market till now. But after COVID, I think we all need to rethink this, and we have tremendous potential in our own domestic market. We have upcoming new generation who would like to explore this kind of special products, and that is, I think, where it is very important to market these products in through proper channels and through so I would not take a lot of time, because most of things have been said, but most important thing is how we sell these products to right clientele. Thank you so much.
Has been shared on the dais today. Take 2 minutes. So what all has been shared on the dais today, now and since morning, there's an eye-opener for many of us about Gujarat tourism, and especially this small boutique hotels, your homestays, farm stays, and unusual things that you guys are doing. I mean, scuba diving, who would have thought that this scuba diving existing in Gujarat? And it's an eye-opener, and definitely that was my question also was when the ministry was here, that how do we market this? Okay, because the awareness doesn't exist in Gujarat also. We living in Gujarat, I mean, I've been in this country for 35 years now, in Gujarat, and I don't know so many of the places. I want to visit it, of course in Dekho Apna Desh you can't visit your own state, but I'm going to visit it regardless. And we should, I think, come up together and find ways to market it. Marketing it, word of mouth is fine, but to make it known to the world, whether they come and visit you or not is a different thing, but to make it known to the world, such places exist in our India, in our state, in our surroundings. I mean, I didn't know for the longest time that Lothal was just hours, 1.5 hours away from here. That's 5,000 years old, the Harappan dynasty findings. And now we have the dinosaur park. So, I mean, this amazing, we have Buddhism. Today we didn't cover that. There's a Buddhism trail also in Gujarat. And, mango festival, we have kite festival, we have Khaman Dokla festival also. So amazing event today, and we have to thank Anil Bhai. Please come and say your thank yous, and we'll have our vote of thanks. We don't want to delay everyone, but I must say thank you to all of you, and thank you for taking your time.
I think we've already had a very long day today. So a very big thank you to all the eminent speaker in today's forum. For a young country like India, agri-tourism indeed the need of the hour. With general tourism in India shrinking, with medical tourism, the clarion call is now towards agri-tourism. Friends, first let us get depth on our feet and visit our own country and savor the great and varied delicacies that is offered, and then make agri-tourism our vintage point to see the India to the world. I must give a big thank you note to Taruna ji and the Madhuban team to host us, and amazingly the warmth and the things we could see, and Anil being our knowledge partner, taking it forward. I also thank our main sponsors of FICCI, Madhuban Resorts and Spa, Phoenix Creation Simplified, Satyanarayan Jadia and Sons, and Sanket India Anand. My thanks to our IT partner, EITL, for providing digital expertise. A big thank you to our design partner and print partner, Aka A Printing and Stationery, and our PR agency, Delta Crest Media. My thanks to all the FICCI Flow members across different chapters, and many of you who came in today and also on Zoom to have a great evening and a great day. And we learned some amazing things about agri-tourism. Believe me, I being a traveler myself, I didn't know that such amazing tourism was there, in Gujarat itself. So many diversified portfolios we saw today. So a big thank you to Anilji and the FEA team, which curated the whole series of the speakers and other things. Thank you so much.